The wind moans through an ice age valley. It's 45,000 years before Common Era. A lone woman steps across frozen ground, her bare feet wrapped in animal hide. She is Homo sapiens, smaller, slighter, but her eyes burn with something new. Calculation, curiosity, fear. She follows the trail, broad footprints pressed deep into thawing snow. Not a predator, not prey. Something else. Up ahead, just beyond the tree line, there's firelight. Flickering, primitive, and beside it, a shape. Massive shoulders, barrel chest. The slope of a heavy brow catching the glow, watching. A Neanderthal. She should run. But she doesn't, because the cold is killing her. Because her tribe is gone. Because survival demands more than strength. It demands proximity, contact, even if it's with something almost human. But not quite. Thousands of generations later, in a laboratory bathed in sterile blue light, a team of geneticists extract DNA from an ancient bone found in a Croatian cave. What they discover shatters the timeline of human purity. Inside almost every modern human alive today, everyone outside sub-Saharan Africa is a signature, a genetic ghost. Between 1 and 4% of your DNA does not come from us. It comes from them, from a species long vanished, from bloodlines forged in the frost, from encounters whispered in caves, lost in time. But what were those encounters really? Was it love? Desperation? Something more brutal? Did Homo sapiens and Neanderthals choose to mix, or did one take from the other? This isn't a tale of ancient romance. It's not a myth of two worlds joining hands. This is a story of extinction by intimacy. Of one human species erasing another, not by war, but by absorption. One brutal, bewildering night at a time. And in the quiet places of your genome, they're still there. Subscribe to Mystafeed. As Homo sapiens migrated out of Africa and swept across a frozen, fractured world, they didn't just replace Neanderthals. They collided with them, and not always with violence. Genetic evidence tells a story of repeated contact, at least 3 major episodes of interbreeding, spanning tens of thousands of years. This wasn't a single fleeting spark. It was a smoldering pattern of interaction across continents, in the caves of Vindija, Croatia, in the highlands of Siberia, even in the frigid corridors of Denisova, where yet another ancient cousin left their genetic trace. And these unions left more than whispers. They changed us. Today, remnants of Neanderthal DNA help shape our skin, our immune systems, even how we process sunlight and pain. Some of their adaptations to the cold, thick skin, clotting responses still echo in northern populations. But not all the gifts were benign. Certain Neanderthal genes have been linked to autoimmune disorders, depression, even nicotine addiction. Like ancient ghosts, their influence lingers in the recesses of our biology, beneficial, burdensome, unknowable. And this raises an even darker question. Did the Neanderthals die out, or were they consumed? There are almost no traces of Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA, the maternal line. Which means either Neanderthal women didn't survive these unions, or they weren't the ones chosen. This suggests a grim dynamic: power, pressure, possibly coercion. This was not a fair meeting of equals. And yet, there are no written records, no fossils of affection or force, only fragments. Genes, absences, Our ancestors didn't just mate with Neanderthals. They erased them one generation at a time. And if you carry their blood, it means your ancestors were part of that process. Part of the last chapter of an entire human species. Imagine this: two intelligent species, both capable of fire, language, and memory, staring across a fire-lit gap. One would vanish, but not in the way we expected. Not through war, not through genocide, through intimacy. This is not just extinction, it's absorption. One species dissolving into another, their identity thinned out across bloodlines until it disappears, not buried in the earth, but diluted in the body. Neanderthals didn't fall in a single battle. They faded generation by generation as their children bore more of us and less of them. And yet, part of them refused to die. Their skulls were heavy, their bones dense, their minds perhaps slower but more focused, more tactile. They crafted tools, buried their dead, even painted in caves. And still, they were outnumbered. Somewhere across wind-lashed cliffs and mammoth-haunted forests, their last pure voices fell silent. But pieces survived, in your blood, in your skin, in the way your body handles disease or wakes from dreams. You are their grave. And their continuation. One haunting clue comes from the DNA of a girl found in a cave in Siberia. She wasn't a Homo sapiens. She wasn't a Neanderthal. She was both. The daughter of a Neanderthal mother and a Denisovan father. Proof that these species were not just breeding. They were blending. Boundaries were dissolving. The lines between species lines we cling to today meant less to them. When survival is on the edge of a knife, purity is a luxury. Hybrids weren't monsters. They were lifelines. And so the Neanderthals didn't just go extinct. They melted into us. The dominant species didn't slay its rival. It inhaled it. Walk through any modern city and you'll pass them, people carrying ancient shadows beneath their skin. Faces shaped subtly by Neanderthal inheritance. A jawline, a brow, a strange resistance to flu. They don't know, but the legacy walks with them. We think of extinction as a final breath, a last heartbeat. But what if it's more complicated? What if extinction isn't always loud? What if it can be quiet and intimate? What happened between Homo sapiens and Neanderthals wasn't just a meeting, it was a merging, a slow, uneven surrender of identity. Not through conquest, but through contact. And yet, there's tragedy here, because in absorbing them, we also erased them. There are no pure Neanderthals left, no camps, no children, no songs passed down through generations, only traces, only echoes. We survived, they disappeared into us, and that should haunt us. Because if our species could erase another so completely through nothing more than desire, necessity, and survival, what stops it from happening again? Look in the mirror. Somewhere deep in your genome, an ancient story is still being told. Not of war, not of peace, but of survival at any cost. They did not die fighting, they died loving or being taken. We call them Neanderthals, but they are not gone. They are inside us. And maybe that's the most terrifying truth of all. Subscribe for more journeys into ancient fear, because the past isn't dead. It lives beneath your skin,